We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan. Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
I'm not going to see after Monday Night Raw.
What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It is Tuesday, June the 10th. Fresh off Money in the Bank, fresh off Monday Night Raw, as you just heard, which we're going to break down on today's show. I've got a sweet crew hanging out with me, of course, on this fine Tuesday. Let me introduce them to you really quickly. First and foremost, I'm going to send this one across the pond. I actually just joined a faction with this fellow. We haven't decided on a name yet. It may be in the bank. You know him as Mickey's best pal in some circles, but in this one, we know him as Jordy in the Bank, host of the WR Watch Along, and one of the best ever. I haven't gotten to talk to you since Money in the Bank, and I can't wait to get into it. Jordy, how you been?
Man, I'm good. Yeah, it was my weekend. It was my PLE. It was my Christmas. It's Money in the Bank. Yeah, it's I should always put in a vacation day with work, but to celebrate this holiday, because like you said, it's not in the camera, but I am indeed Jordy in the Bank, especially in this circle. But we're talking about Raw. That's what we're here to talk about. And yeah, good episode. I thought I did enjoy it. One of the better episodes, I think, in recent weeks, maybe even recent months. I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. Truthfully,
I think it was really well. Wow, pun intended, nearly there. Truthfully, I feel like it was set up really well by Money in the Bank too. It's been back to back. I thought Money in the Bank was better than people gave it credit for. No doubt about it. But let me introduce our next co-host for today. You know him from the last few weeks. He's not the new guy anymore. He's a veteran of the game. Our resident Dallas Cowboys fan. We got Dez in the building. What's going on, Dez?
Doing good, guys. Thank you guys so much, Jordy and Clark. We are going to be talking about the post-show of Jordy's favorite holiday. Lots to unpack. What a Raw it was, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about it.
No doubt. Let's get right into it, because what is this, 13, 12 years in the making? CM Punk versus the last real champion, John Cena, in Saudi Arabia, though? I don't know. Little interesting choice. Who cares? We're getting it. Nobody had that on their bingo card when Punk took his ball and went home. Come on. On the retirement tour. Yeah, on the retirement tuna. No, he's on his retirement tour, and we're gonna get CM Punk, John Cena one final time. I am fired up about that. No matter the circumstances, I thought the back and forth last night was fascinating. We've seen it heel face, One Direction, like the band, for over a decade. No doubt about it. We got it the opposite this time. I dug it. I thought it was fun. I think John Cena is actually getting more comfortable in his skin as a heel. He did a really good job with the sort of dogging the fans about the truth stuff and everything. I'm taking credit for, like, come on, look at what you guys did. Does this even matter? I loved it. I enjoyed it. Jordy, you are our resident John Cena, not only fan, but expert. I know that. So I want to get your perspective on his side last night when it comes to his back and forth with CM Punk.
I can't lie. I was, as much as I'm excited to see Truth back, and that moment was huge. It was incredible. And we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about what Ron Killings, Truth, whatever we're calling him now. We'll talk about that. I almost didn't want him to come and interrupt John. The person that I wanted to come and interrupt John was CM Punk. I wanted to hear that static hit. I've been wanting to see this match. I was doubtful. I honestly, when the farewell tour got announced, this was like way before the heel turn. Like I didn't think we were gonna get kind of greatest hits again. I thought it would have been kind of more putting over new talent, which I understand. There's probably more of the IWC, more of the internet out there that would have preferred it to go that way. But as a diehard Cena fan, seeing all these kind of one last time moments, I'm actually all for it. And CM Punk was the one that was the top of my list because, like you said, Randy was always in the business. It was always a chance that we'd see Cena versus Randy again. But like for over a decade, CM Punk versus John Cena was just not on the cards, on anyone's cards. It was just, we were never going to see it again. And now, yeah, here we are. It's in, like you say, it's in Saudi Arabia. It's an interesting choice. As somebody who lives in the UK, so would be watching it on a screen, no matter where it is, kind of doesn't bother me that much. But I would appreciate that. Obviously, you guys in America probably would have liked the opportunity to go and watch it without having to hop on a flight. So I get that. It's a bit. I don't know, a bit of a negative side to it, I guess, in one sense, but. It might not be the last time.
All I could think is Ted DiBiase's laughing somewhere and saying everybody's got a price. That's all I could think when that was the announcement. But you made a great point. We thought this was just history now, right? Mm-hmm. CM Punk Cena as a rivalry was just history. Randy Orton, he's been in the business this whole time, right? Cody Rhodes has been in the business the whole time. Mm-hmm. Some of these matchups, I will say, to your point, though, I didn't expect the greatest hits tour, but if you're going to buy Billy Joel tickets, you're there to see the hits, right? I mean, at the end of the day, right? If you're going to go to one of those shows, you're really not there to see the B-side of the album. And I'm actually happy that John has gone the route that he's gone, because I think if he goes a different route, there's too much pressure on who's he putting over. And we've done that over the last few years, right? Mm-hmm. Who's Cena putting over? At some point,
it's not worked.
Eventually,
like you look at Solo Theory, it never really worked because
it never did.
They'd done this thing of putting Cena in a position where he hadn't won a singles match. Losing against beating Cena wasn't a big thing because he hadn't won in X amount of days. Right. So they'd kind of knocked Cena down to this level, but then we're expecting him to still be able to put people over. And it was just people would beat Cena and would be like, well, so what? Like
no wonder
else has. Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah. So now he's not in that position. Now he's in a position, I think, where he can put people over. So
I am in complete agreement, Jordy. Like, they've righted almost some wrongs here, where now John Cena's in a position where he really can put somebody over on the back end of this.
Yeah.
And I think that's a possibility. But Des, I of course have to get your thoughts on the matchup between Punk and Cena that was announced as far as the back and forth last night as well. All of the above, none of the below. Let's talk about it, Des.
You know, it's funny you mentioned One Direction, because even though I don't listen to One Direction a lot, one of my favorite songs by them is Night Changes. And Changes is something. Shout out 1D. And speaking of changes, in the night, CM Punk is set to have his first ever match in Saudi Arabia against John Cena. Like most people, I really thought that this was going to be at Money in the Bank. When Cena announced his retirement tour, I was very set that this match was going to happen at Money in the Bank. But I actually later found out earlier today that the last time that John Cena and CM Punk had a WWE Championship match was at Night of Champions in 2012 in Boston, Massachusetts. So this is kind of like a little callback, which I didn't even realize. So it's really interesting. Plus, I think it also adds a lot more realism because Punk is someone who, obviously, we know the history. I don't want to dig up this old dirt because it's not my place to. But we know how Punk feels about Saudi Arabia. For Cena in storyline to get him and force him to go there, it really just makes him more of a bad guy because now he's making people uncomfortable, pushing them past their boundaries and saying that if you want a shot at this, you're going to do it on my terms, which is not the John Cena that we're normally traditionally used to. I'm overall really excited for this match, and I don't know. Maybe Seth Rollins also came out during the match, during the promo too, so maybe he can be involved in some capacity. But overall, this was my first ever WWE feud I ever saw as a kid back in 2012. So I'm beyond excited for this.
I am too. It's going to be great, whatever it is. And I like that you brought up that point, kind of forcing him to go. If they include that in the storyline, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know that they will. I think that might be just sort of a veiled layer of this, but I hadn't really thought of it that way. That's a good one. We've also got a bazillion comments that I didn't run through. I feel terrible. Right. Roundhead said, good evening. His glorious ring general is back on top. Yes. Tears in his eyes.
Bring it around.
Shout out Roundhead and you with It's Tuesday and Raw was fire. Mickey's best pal, no doubt. And then he said he needs some Mickey ears.
He's the Mickey ears.
I'll get you some.
DX Warlord with the truth has set him free, no doubt.
Mr. Iguana.
Sean Ellis, aloha. What's going on, my friend Sean? No doubt. The Bellas dethroning Liv Kell. Ooh,
Yeah.
hello.
Interesting.
Seth cashing in. Good afternoon, WR crew, from friend of the show, Fernando Zayas. Well, I mean, everyone's a friend of this show, no doubt about it. Karrion Kross has to be the mystery guy and the King of the Ring from DCX Warlord. Man, we're going to get into all kinds of stuff here. We've got an RIP Liam Payne. RIP Liam Payne.
Liam Payne, yeah.
Shout out 1D. And then, the Supreme General here from David Maj. I like that. We are the Republic. Star Wars reference. That's a reference inside of a reference. I'll take it.
And the shirt that Jordy has. It's just perfect.
I mean, honest to goodness, though.
Look at that.
I never expected the Cena heel run to be this way where he still dresses as himself. And it's so mocking everything that we've had to get to this point.
With no graphics.
Really starting to appreciate it. Nothing changed. The brilliance of teasing that outside of the show to all of us.
I actually love that there's no graphics as well. Like it's just black and white behind him. So he pops. He's this pop of color, but his face is just miserable. It's so funny every time.
Honest to goodness, the scowl. I'm starting to think like it's really funny. At first, I thought it was a bit forced, but the fact that he really never breaks it, I'm like, no, it's brilliant. Because it's not like a scowl that would like scare a kid, and it's not It's not like a stare down scowl you get in like a, like a pre-boxing match stare down. Right? It's not one of those like intimidating like I'm gonna get you scowls. It's like I don't even really want to be here. I'm doing this because I'm mad at you guys.
Do you know what? It's a teacher. It's literally a teacher. Yeah. It's like you turn up in the morning and you think, oh no. They're in that mood
again.
There's nothing we can do. Like they just don't want to be here, and it's all our fault. Like,
and it's gonna be homework today. It's gonna be reading and an assignment. It's not just reading. We can't even skim it, and they're gonna want to see that you highlighted the book. It's that kind of a scowl. You're gonna have to show the book you highlighted the key points. Like. It's one of those ones. I mean, I dig it, no doubt about it. We've got some funny commentary. It's a turn scowl from David Maj, no doubt about it.
Turn scowl.
Sean Ellis, what's the point of making Jey Uso WWE World Champion if Gunther's just gonna win it back?
Stay tuned to the end of the show, my friend.
We're gonna get to that at the end of the show, Sean. I do promise, but aloha, my friend. No doubt. Let's get to the next. The next subject today. I'm all tongue-tied. I'm too excited to be here.
Exactly.
It's on me. Too happy to be here. But let's get into Liv Morgan interrupting Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella's debut, awesome. I hung out with a good friend of mine, Casey, over at the show at Money in the Bank. A bunch of people. He works with the Bellas. He's very excited for the return. It's amazing to have Nikki back. I will say, during her promo, that Stephanie Vacquer pronunciation.
Vacquer.
Vacquer.
Yeah, we all heard that.
She get French?
It's okay. Yeah.
It's like, honestly, it kind of sounds cool. I'll take it. But at the same time, the rest of it, Nikki's awesome on the mic. Liv interrupting Nikki, I have no issue with. It's all good in my book. I mean, we saw that comment earlier about the Bella twins. We know there's two of them. Right?
They look similar.
You've got Liv and Raquel dominating this tag division. Jordy, are we one-way ticket to the return of also Brie Bella?
I didn't even think about it until I'd seen the comment, and like I feel like an idiot for not even thinking about it. Maybe it's more of a look into how the WWE have currently positioned the women's tag titles, because like despite the fact Liv was holding one around the head, like at one point, I didn't even think, oh yeah, we could do Bella versus Liv and Raquel. Like I was just, and also in fairness, perhaps it was credit to Liv Morgan, because it felt like she wasn't thinking about anybody but herself when she came storming out with that microphone. It felt real. It felt like she genuinely was saying that with a lot of passion. And I'm here for this rivalry. I honestly am. If it's a tag rivalry, I think even better. I just think that the tag titles have just been a bit stale, and yeah, inject the Bellas into that, and it's probably a little bit more exciting for sure. If we got a run, if we got a title run, it would be brilliant. I don't know if we will. I think it's all centered around Evolution. And look, kayfabe aside, like these people, the Bellas and many alike, that there's a whole generation that did pave the way for the women that are there now, that we probably wouldn't have your Rhea Ripleys, your Tiffy Strattons, the people that are at the top, Bianca Belairs. I mean, I could list a lot of names right now, so I won't, but all of them that are at the top of the game, and I could list a lot more names than Nikki Bella as well, but I think it's fitting to not let a past generation dictate this card and be the be all and end all of Evolution 2 or whatever, if that's what they're calling it, the new Evolution. But I think they should play a part, and I think that this is a fitting part, and I believe that if it is just Nikki and Liv, that they can definitely build a rivalry that makes us want to see them wrestle. Because to be honest, I already kind of do. So the job's already done for me. If they need to sell more people some tickets, then fair enough. But I'm excited for it, and I do think that, if Nikki feels like she's in a position where she can come back and throw down, then hell yeah, let her do it. Like 300 days Diva champion, like she's earned her stripes,
and she looked good in the Rumble. I think we forgot she looked good in the Rumble. Like, yes, she came in at 30, but she looked the same old. She looked absolutely the same old Nikki Bella that we're used to. And that's something that, like, I think was overlooked at the time, because I think a lot of people had different ideas of who 30 was going to be.
Well, that's the thing as well. And there's no disrespect at all here, but Nikki Bella didn't wrestle like a Kairi Sane. She didn't wrestle like an Io Sky. So because she didn't have that kind of hugely crazy, impactful style, she, at this age that she is now, she can still wrestle in the same style that she used to. It's easily. I don't think we're going to even notice a massive difference. So yeah, I'm here for it.
I am too. I think it's a fun rivalry. And yeah, Des, what are your thoughts on that? Whether it's the singles rivalry or the potential return of Brie?
I like the idea of it. I actually did read a comment earlier, like people have mentioned, that they're going to do the Bellas versus Liv and Raquel, and that could potentially be the gateway towards Liv and Raquel splitting, which could also happen if that doesn't happen at SummerSlam. The only thing is, I don't know how long the Bellas are going to stay. Nikki, I believe, is going to stay there longer. Brie, I'm not too sure about. So if they did win the championships, it would ultimately depend on how long they would stay. But going back to just Nikki Bella as a solo wrestler, you're right. She was at the Rumble. I thought she did pretty well. People were expecting someone else to light it up at number 30, but that didn't happen, which is totally fine. I think Nikki did well. Like you said, she's also great on the mic. She is a legend in the company. I know that back when this was when the WWE Divas, I hate that term, by the way. I think it's very cringe. But the WWE Divas at the time, she was
trying to happen, though.
Oh, yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. But it's just, compared to where women's wrestling... it is unfortunate. Compared to what women's wrestling is now, it's just so much better. And even though Nikki Bella, she was there, she was kind of a catalyst for this evolution, because she was helping a lot of these women get to where they are. The Charlotte Flairs, the Paiges, the Becky Lynches.
Main event of the original Evolution pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. So I understand why she is a part of this. I also think Liv Morgan's a great worker. In my opinion, I think she's probably one of the best female workers in WWE this year. I have not seen her put on a bad match. Honestly, last 2 years. Like, she really does not put on... Right, she does not put on a bad match. So putting Nikki Bella with her, because we know Liv's a safe worker, I think it could work, and it can make Nikki Bella maybe some, not the insecurities, but some of the weaknesses she has in the ring due to like ring rust. I think Liv Morgan could really cover that up, and it could have a fantastic match.
The other part of it is that I would even say ring rust is part of it. I think the neck is always the concern.
Yeah, that too.
We know what she went through. She went through very similar to like many wrestlers we've seen lose time due to neck injury. Like that. Right. That is not something to be overlooked. No debate about it. But I have an interesting question. Honestly, I didn't want to extend this topic that long, but if I remember correctly, the Bellas have never won the tag team titles.
No, because it wasn't around at that time. They only had.
That would be the most logical tag team. Right. They'd probably be the best ever in the women's division to not win if they don't win them ever.
Yeah, for sure.
You might as well strike. I'm starting to think that is got to be the move. Honestly, just simply for stacking the record books, stacking the future of what future generations look at, and they're like, oh yeah, the Bella Twins were a part of the revolution,
right?
The evolution, all of it.
Yeah,
Catalysts for it. Then they also came back and won those tag belts that were basically created in their image.
Of course,
after they had already done their work. You
don't need to work a massively heavy schedule to have a tag title reign
True.
with them women's titles, because they don't get defended a great deal. And the beauty of it is they are cross-brand, so they could show up on SmackDown. So you know what I mean? So they could win and then enter into a little feud with Chelsea and the Secret Service. It's like, seriously, there's not that many women's tag teams out there right now. And I think for Liv and Raquel to lose them, it would add to this kind of crash out that Liv Morgan's currently
no doubt about it.
But
she's currently going through.
So,
yep.
Yeah. So I really think, because I actually, after last night and seeing them team together ever so slightly, I kind of want to see Liv and Roxanne have a little run at a tag title rather than Liv and Raquel. I don't know. I thought they actually did have good chemistry in the ring together, and they could work well together in a tag team given the opportunity. But
for
whether
sure,
they get there, I don't know.
Interesting. It's an interesting possibility.
I know we want to spend some time on these next two topics.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Some ads very quickly, and then we'll get to those. No doubt about it. First and foremost, head over to our second channel right after this show. Not now. Don't do it now. Stay on this one. Subscribe to our second channel, Wrestling Republic Undercard. There's exclusive videos, clips, and more. There's all kinds of good stuff over there. You got sold separately, full shows. Grappling for Position is over there as well. There's off the air episodes. There's short clips. There's all kinds of great stuff, great entertainment. If you enjoy our main channel, go and follow that one. And then I'm going to ask you to follow another channel for us. The new Allison Analysis channel is also out. Unfortunately, we don't have a graphic yet, but don't you worry about it. Go over, like, and subscribe. Allison Analysis is on its own separate channel now. Check that out if you want to hear Ben Allison's thoughts. He gave me the days. It's like Tuesday and Saturday, right?
Tuesday, Saturday, I believe. Yeah.
Tuesday,
Right.
Saturday. Every Tuesday and Saturday, head over to the Allison Analysis channel. And I assure you, you will love it. Monster shout out to Ben for these graphics. Speaking of graphics. But let's move on to something that, I've been waiting to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm going to toot my own horn for a second here, because I've wanted to do it for a while. I wanted him to be Ron Killings in the first match, not Ron Cena. I said Ron Killings like 3 months ago. So I wasn't right, but I was close. We got
We're close.
Ron the Truth Killings. What I've been begging for. Cutting the hair off blew me away. The promo itself blew me away. The look in his eyes, all of it. I don't care how old he is. That guy is ageless. John Cena was his childhood hero. That's our truth. Different guy. That's the old one. Ron Killings isn't an old guy. And Ron Killings isn't here to mess around. This is the guy I grew up with. We're going to see one last run. John Cena said, look what you've done with the truth thing last night. Oh no, look what you've done on this one. In my eyes, Ron Killings and R-Truth are two different people in a big way. In a big way. And Des, I'm going to go to you first, but we're all going to talk about this one because, man, what a moment for the WWE, and super cool. I thought we'd have to wait till SmackDown to hear from Truth again. Ron Killings again. Ron the Truth Killings again. We got it on Raw. I really appreciated that last night, and I thought the timing was good. Standing on the announce desk, all of that. Even McAfee's reaction, just being so fired up. Cole's as well. Everything about this tickled me. And everything, it shows you just how talented a guy like Ron Killings actually is, because we know he's not been this for a decade, at least, if not more. It's pretty incredible. Des, what were your thoughts?
Well, he said that he is the truth and nothing but the truth, and that's exactly what we saw yesterday. It's actually funny because when I was watching it on Raw, maybe this is just a part of me, but like when you saw Ron Killings, like he has like a lot more like a more meaner style, right? A more aggressive style. And when I saw that at Money in the Bank, it didn't feel like that R-Truth, right? I mean, he was called R-Truth, but it didn't feel like R-Truth at Money in the Bank, right? He had a much more meaner expression. Like he almost felt like betrayed at the same time. And he was like ready to be serious and, have business. And we saw that. him cutting the dreads from his hair, I honestly think like it speaks a lot of volume, right? Because with the dreads, it's like more of a fun guy, a guy that you want to hang out with, a guy you want to talk to. And that was what we saw yesterday, right? Ron Killings, he feels like he's left behind, right? He's a gimmick, as John Cena calls him. And for him to go the others, to take the next step and say, like, I belong here. I'm someone who should be taken serious. I've been here for 17 years and I've not had an ounce of respect because people think I'm nothing but a comedy gimmick. And for him to show that more serious side, it's similar to what the New Day was for me, because when the New Day took that heel turn and then everybody was like, oh man, what are the New Day going to do this week? I'm on the same boat because now I'm like, I want to see Ron Killings, right? Where before, I would have always liked to see R-Truth, but it's like, yeah, I want to see R-Truth. You know, I'm having a sad day, having a bad day. I want to have a laugh. I want to see someone that's going to make me entertained. Now I'm watching Ron Killings, and I'm like, I want to see this guy, and I want to see what he does next week and how he's going to keep on building this respect that he wants to have from the fans. Not to mention, too, actually, I'll end it there. I lost my thought.
You sure? Because
Yeah,
I was going to show this
lost
comment,
my
and
thought.
I don't normally like torching comments, but Adam, his real name is Ronnie Aaron Killings.
Okay.
He didn't steal it from anywhere. Like,
I see.
it's not taken from South
Right.
Park or
Oh.
Token. No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
It's Ron Killings.
Ron
Oh.
Killings is the man.
I got my thought back, actually.
Go ahead. Good.
So I was going
He's
to
back.
say,
Wait, hang on. Fernando with Ron Killings is
worries.
more over than ever, or the return
of
of
course,
Quick.
exactly. One thing, I don't know, it's so interesting because last week when Ron Killings R-Truth got cut, well, he didn't get cut, he got let go, right? There was so much negativity about it, right? There was nothing positive. It almost seems like we have the positivity out of this really negative thing, which we thought would never happen. Do you think that we would have had Ron Killings had Truth not come back? That's one thing I've always had in the back of my head, because I feel like we never would have had that, because I think the plan was always Ron Cena and then he was going to get let go and that's it. For him to come back and have this character, well, to be himself, I should say, not this character, to be literally himself, I never thought that would happen. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's incredible that he's back. More importantly, I think he's in the right character now. It's amazing. We weren't going to get this. Jeff Jarrett got a retirement tour that nobody really asked for. Ron Killings deserves one. Jordy, I want to get your thoughts on it as well, though. I mean, how cool is this?
It's awesome. It is awesome. It's so cool. Like, just to put into perspective, so I've been watching wrestling for, God, how long? I don't know, 20 plus years now. Clark, you as well. We've all done our fair stint. My wife started watching wrestling probably about 12 months ago, something like that. All she knows about Truth is the Truth that we've seen over the past 12 months. She was equally as heartbroken when she found out the news that Truth got released. And when he came back and cut that promo last night, I have not seen her glued to the screen like that in quite a while. It's so interesting because she won't be the only one that's in that position, right? She won't be the only one that's never seen Ron Killings, and is so intrigued to see this other side of him. It was passionate last night. His eyes were filling up. It was just real, and you could tell. Like, yeah, we blur the lines between real reality and kind of imaginary a lot of the time in wrestling. But when he was talking to the crowd last night, saying like, "I came back for you," I believe that. I believe that that's why he came back. I don't think it was a contract. I don't think it was because they finally offered him enough money. Maybe it played a factor, but I think that what brought him back was hearing them chants, hearing "We want Truth," and just, I don't know. I'm just so happy for the man himself. One question I have got to go to you guys is like, do you think we would have got this without the Cena match?
No,
I don't think so.
Because that is interesting. Because from what I've heard from the dirty
Jordy, no way.
sheets, no. So this is what I'm gonna say. So these dirty sheets, this is not real. So like this is speculation. Let me say that, make it very clear that John Cena caught wind that Truth was getting released and was like, I'm gonna wrestle. I want to wrestle Truth in the farewell tour as part of it. If that is the case now, and this has come back, that then our Truth Ron Killings or John Cena a big hug, because
have my
I'm not
tinfoil
sure
hat
if,
on.
yeah, I don't know if we would have got there without the Cena match, because it just brought us back to realizing not only can Truth be funny, he can be real, because he was in the Cena feud, and he could wrestle. He could throw down, so
I believe what happened, Jordy, personally, I've got my tinfoil hat right on the top of my head right now, like easily, no problem. Everybody put your tinfoil hats on. Conspiracy theory time.
All right, let's see.
I wholeheartedly believe the contract situation expiring and whatnot, the match is happening. Everyone's sort of aware of it. Cost-cutting measures happening at TKO, right? This is reckless speculation too. Remember, I'm wearing a fictional tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
I'm just speculating on what is possible here. Everyone's sitting there like, shoot, we can't re-sign him. He's so expensive, and we can't justify it to the board because we're doing this cost-cutting stuff. That's why there's releases and all of this other hoopla going on around the budget and the roster and the sponsors and the right. Like there's financially, it's affecting the on-screen product, at least to many of us that watch all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they thought, okay, but if we do this Ron Cena match and it lands, maybe the fans can do it. I think there was some anticipation there, like, okay, on the way out, though, this is our Hail Mary attempt, right?
maybe
To create leverage to justify
Yeah.
bringing him back, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
I agree.
yeah,
That-
no, man, it's
that
it's a
logical
possibility
is
for sure.
because multiple things can be true at once, right?
Yeah.
You know, like he can be on the road to being released, and people don't want him to be, that don't have the leverage or power in their own right.
I think
to
in my head,
navigate that.
in my head, I don't even think. Yeah, I mean, probably this is a fictional fantasy where John Cena is the Lord and Savior of everything. But I just think that he caught wind that he was retiring and was like, "Nah, right, come on, let's give him a farewell match. Let's
do
give him
one
a
more."
decent last match." He didn't probably even anticipate that this would then generate a movement that brings him back. He just thought, let's give him a farewell that he
It's a
deserves.
fair point.
And
Fair
then
point, yeah.
and then
I
all
will-
this happened, and he's just sat there like, well, I guess you owe me a whiskey, Mr.
Got him.
Mr. Killings.
I
Like,
will say it's odd to me that they went with Truth and JC Mateo. After
why
that. did
they do that?
that was a
annoyed
mistake?
me. Yeah,
That was a
annoyed
mistake.
me. That
But
annoyed me.
let's move on to the main event of the evening. Our main event of the evening as well. Gunther dethrones Jey Uso.
Yep.
Shoot. No
No
yeet, and we're not even talking about Jimmy. This just made me sad because it feels like, I mean, every headline, I watch too much wrestling, guys. I watch too much wrestling.
I do too.
Every headline's like Goldberg's retirement match, and it's logically Gunther.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a
Need a
lot,
title.
internet. We just talked about Ron Killings coming back. Thanks a lot. Now we
Need
get
a title
we
anyway.
get Gunther and Goldberg. Next thing you need is Gennady Golovkin. We'll get quintuple G. It'll be unbelievable in a triple threat match. I don't know. I'm excited about it, but I'm not excited about it. Actually, that's a bold-faced lie.
Okay.
I'm unexcited. Jey Uso, darn it. Gosh darn it. Either
Yeah.
way, Dez. Gunther's the champ again.
Yes.
The ring general. Ring general.
Like Ludwig kind of says, "Starting and it all Gunther." As much as I love Jay, I gotta do this. 6 letters, 1 word. Former, because that's what Jay is, unfortunately. Jay is the former world heavyweight champion. And I know people are upset, and I understand it. The way I see this is, I'm just happy he got a run with the belt. That's basically as it goes, because the biggest thing with Jey Uso was he consistently comes up short, right? All of last year, he's had so many championship matches, right? The likes of Rollins, Priest, and he always came up short. And fans were wondering, like, when is this guy going to get his moment? When is this guy going to get the crowning moment in his career, besides being a tag team guy? And Jey Uso proved that he is more than just a tag team guy. He is someone that was the world heavyweight champion. That's something that not even the IWC, they might can pretend that he was a terrible champion, but he has that accolade in his career. When he goes to the Hall of Fame, it's going to say Jey Uso, multiple-time tag champion, world heavyweight champion, not to mention intercontinental champion. I am happy that his reign was longer than his intercontinental championship run. Like, I see a silver lining. Actually, I'll just go out and make my bold prediction because I feel like Gunther won the championship, but I don't think he's going to stay the champion for much longer. I think it's going to be very similar to the Jey Uso run. I do think he's probably going to face Goldberg at Saturday Night Main Event. Again, this is just me speculating and me fantasy booking. I could see a situation where Sami Zayn beats Gunther. He could win King of the Ring and then face Gunther at SummerSlam, and then maybe Seth cashes in something like that. I do think the ultimate goal is to have the Usos come back, which is really cool because I like the Usos. The Usos are unbelievably over right now. I don't think they're ever going to go back to the dark side. Well, I mean, I guess they could, but I feel like they're going to stay on the good side as long as they can. And they're going to get even more over. Plus, the Raw Tag Team division, in lighter terms, isn't the best right now, right? They got the New Day, they got the War Raiders, they got American Made. They really need that tag team that can solidify how good the Raw Tag Team division is. And if Penta joins up with Rey Fenix, then you also got the Usos and Lucha Brothers in the horizon too. And I think that's an exciting
talk
possibility.
Dirty to me, Des. What do you mean? Usos, Lucha Bros? Stop. Where do we book it? Where do I buy my ticket? What do you mean?
Pause first.
You're making me nervous. Where do we go? That has to happen.
I feel like it has to happen.
That is a must-see match. I love this comment here from Sean Ellis. He said that was a big mistake by the WWE, taking the World Championship away from Jey Uso and handing it back to Gunther. It's an insult to Jey big time. To decide this finish in this match is nothing more than total BS. I actually agree. It was not. I don't think this match should have been the main event of the Raw after Money in the Bank. And here's my reasoning before I hand this over to you, Jordy, because I attended the Rumble, lucky enough, Mania, and Money in the Bank, which I would consider the 3 biggest shows of the year thus far, right? We talk about the big 4. If you're going to make it a big 5, I'd throw Money in the Bank in there these days, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fair.
If you've been in the building for a Jey Uso reaction since he's been on this run, whether it's the Rumble, whether it's him winning at Mania, or his entrance, just a few nights ago in LA, alongside John Cena, or alongside Cody Rhodes too, but wrestling John Cena and Cody Rhodes, he arguably got the biggest reaction in the match. The crowd moved the most for Jey Uso. That's just a fact. We OO'd for Cody. He got a big pop. John Cena got a huge pop too. The crowd went ballistic for Jey Uso. He's over. That's just a fact.
Of course.
That's just a fact.
Cold,
it's
hard
just the
fact.
truth.
Yes.
Gunther is over too, and he's great. But it was too early, in my opinion. One thing it does do is keep him away from the King of the Ring this time, though, which is, I guess, fair. But Jordy, can you break some of this down for me? What were your thoughts on all of it?
I just don't like it. And I love Gunther. I love Jey. It's just, it kind of undoes what was such an amazing Mania moment to have it like just over 50 days later. The tap out kind of doesn't mean as much. You throw it away. If you're gonna make him lose, don't make it happen on the main event of Monday Night Raw. Like, at least make a big deal of it happening. It just felt a bit throwaway, which meant it made the moment at Mania just feel a little bit throwaway to me. Yeah, I'm not a fan, and I've said my piece prior to this about Gunther as a champion, and he needs a run not as champion for him to really make the crowd kind of care, whether it be for good or bad, whether it be for scared, whatever, make the crowd feel something again. Because for me, I'm over him just being a steamrolling champion. I was bored of him that when Jey kind of took the title off him. I don't think he had a brilliant run. He had a good run off screen at live events. He was wrestling some great matches, but on screen, it just wasn't the best of runs. And I just think we can't make, it's what people dislike about like Charlotte Flair, right? In the women's division. We can't do that to Gunther. It started to happen to Rhea a little bit. You kind of see it a little bit with Becky now, but she's leaning into it because she's doing the whole heel Becky Hogan thing, and that's fine. But with Gunther, I really, really wanted to see a couple of feuds, a couple of storylines, a couple of angles, and the Pat one doesn't count, that aren't centered around him just becoming the champion. And I think that the Goldberg one would have been a perfect one. I don't think you need, if they do Goldberg versus Gunther for the belt as Goldberg's farewell match, are we under any kind of impression that Goldberg's gonna win and retire with the belt. Like, no
No.
chance. So what's the point?
only
Just
one guy
make
doing
him
that,
not have a
Corey.
belt, right? Yeah, exactly. We've already got one guy doing that. So
Genius.
just don't have the belt involved.
Yeah,
And just
you're
make us
spot on,
think that
Jordy.
maybe he wins on the way out. That's a possibility. I wouldn't like it, but it's a possibility. But him winning the belt on his final match isn't a possibility. So just don't have it involved. So yeah, I have my issues with this.
I'm in 100% agreement, especially on the Goldberg aspect of this. The one saving grace of last night's match that I will say is I like the fact that Gunther tapped at Mania.
Mhm.
Jay just went out. He went out on his shield. He went out on his shield, right? He wasn't going to quit. He wasn't going to tap out. He went out on his shield the right way there. He was a fighting champion all the way. I don't know that we see another Jay Uso World Championship run is my only fear and issue I have with this. I think that was a one of one.
I don't think he does.
I think that was a one of one.
I think so too.
And it was amazing for Jay.
He was too much of a babyface on the run, right? That's what lost him the title. He was helping Cody. He was helping everyone out. So I think if he ever has a new world title run, I think he has to turn and he has to be like, I'm on my own. I listened to Gunther and I need to not help Jimmy, not help Roman, not help Cody, not help anyone. I'm in this for me now, kind of thing. So
I just don't want to see him walk down the regular entrance ramp again. It was so much fun with through the crowd. Which section is it?
He'll still do that. They can still do that with Jimmy, of course. Both of them will be
with Jimmy, but I mean, if it's a heel run.
Oh yeah, right. No, good point. Yeah.
If it's a heel run,
no yeeting if it's a heel run.
Yeah,
it's not.
If it's a heel run, then I don't know. Either way, though. Wild Raw last night, wild week in pro wrestling.
Sure.
All kinds of great stuff coming up, but that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. We really appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Go check out those other channels I mentioned earlier as well. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Of course, that's noon Pacific, 3 o'clock on the East Coast, 8 o'clock in the UK, and 9 a.m. for my friends in Hawaii. Have an excellent Tuesday. If you have no plans tonight, you do now. Great news. Especially if you're watching NXT immediately following off the air. Check it out. Me, Gotti, Drizzy, as usual, it's going to be great. But on behalf of me, Clark Taylor, Jordy in the bank, and Dez, the man, the myth, the legend, thank you so much. Have a great Tuesday.
It's my briefcase.
Talk to you soon. I love it.
I don't have one.